Since it has been 2 months since Dragon Ball Sparking Zero released, the people are asking, where is the DLC and what will the next free content updates be? And honestly, these are some pretty divisive questions. The DLC one is a little more upset, expecting early or soon DLC release dates for a game that just came out that's covering a new anime that's not over yet is a bit ridiculous, but free content updates might actually be the way Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will handle content from now on, since we've had massive changes like netcode fixes, bunch of balances and patches and updates. This game could actually end up doing what early Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 did, or what recent Dragon Ball FighterZ has been doing, where they just change a bunch of different systems in the game at the same time to basically create a constant new player experience. Xenoverse 2 used to do changes that would actually change 150 new things in the game, from super attacks to the way characters play, to certain stamina breaks, to other bugs, patches, fixes, all these other things. And Dragon Ball FighterZ recently has just been doing insane stuff like turbo mode, where they just basically make the game on drugs. But we could talk about Dragon Drugs Fighter Z another time. I want to talk about why the DLC is taking so long, because a lot of people have been very impatient with the superhero DLC. And I want to say 2 things first before we go into the DLC proper. 1, Dragon Ball Daima DLC is obviously going to take longer, guys, because Dragon Ball Daima is not a finished anime yet. It's still ongoing. You can't really add all of these characters in yet because we don't know how many forms they'll have until now. And for superhero, I actually start right now as to why the superhero DLC is actually taking a decent amount of time. Forgot to say hello everyone, it's me again, Steve here, and without wasting too much time, let's get into this. So superhero DLC, obviously again this is not Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and this is not Dragon Ball FighterZ either, where they didn't even add the superhero characters. Despite being a game that came out after Xenoverse 2, they didn't add the superhero characters. That's weird. But it's not Xenoverse 2 that's only going to do like 2 or 3 characters at a time. This is Sparking Zero. It will do every version of the character and all of their forms, and the characters need to also have transformation animations into those forms, as well as have their stats adjust and change in real time with their transformations, which is something Xenoverse 2 didn't even attempt to do with most DLC characters. They just auto-transform. Keep in mind, these are all the characters we should be getting when the superhero DLC comes out. Gamma 1, Gamma 2, DBS Gohan, DBS Gohan Super Saiyan 1, DBS Gohan Super Saiyan 2, DBS Gohan Ultimate Form, DBS Gohan Beast, Base Piccolo, Power Awakened Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, Giant Orange Piccolo. Keep in mind, these would all be in one transformation slot under the new DBS Piccolo as well. Then we'd most likely get a DBS Pan, maybe even a DBS costume for Krillin in 18. And then, finally, Cell Max. I'm not going to say Fat Gotenks. I don't think they'll do Fat Gotenks. That's if they did, honestly, it would be a bigger testament to Sparking Zero's commitment to just add literally everyone it can into the game. Well, I don't think they'll do Fat Gotenks. I think they'll do Cell Max. But you can see what I mean here. That is a ton of characters. A good example is that when Xenoverse 2 first was doing these superhero DLC packs, right? They did Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and I'm pretty sure DBS Gohan, right? And to their credit, that's technically 3 characters. 4 if you do it by the Sparking Zero rules, but it's just 3 characters. Because Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, that's like usual for Xenoverse 2 DLC standards. DBS Gohan, big surprise, to be honest. Everyone was only expecting 2 characters. But when he transforms to Ultimate Gohan, he just goes from base to Ultimate form. And his moveset doesn't change. It's just a stat increase, right? This isn't like Sparking Zero, where when we get DBS-based Gohan, not only will he have access to Super Saiyan 1, 2, Ultimate Form, and Beast, his moveset would change throughout all of the forms. He's not just going to have the same super attacks as he had in base form. That's massive. And that's just one character. If you just take all of Gohan's forms only from, like, Superhero, and just try and translate them over to Xenoverse 2, that would be an entire DLC pack on its own. Just the one character and his forms would be an entire DLC pack. That's crazy. But that's another reason why Sparking Zero DLC is taking so long, because keep in mind, that's just for Gohan. I'm not even talking about Piccolo, who's going to have his many different versions of Special Canon, and also turns into a goddamn giant character midway through. And he could probably turn back to, like, a smaller form too after. Piccolo might be the first giant that could honestly, like, go back to, like, a smaller form in Sparking Zero. I would actually like to see that. It'd be very cool. But I have a feeling they most likely won't do that, because it's probably, like, very difficult to implement. But I would like to see that. But that's, again, another reason why the superhero DLC is taking so long. It's just a lot to add. Now, that obviously doesn't mean the DLC is going to come out early. It still could, because, you know, a January release date would make sense. It's the first month of the year. It'd be a great time for Sparking Zero to celebrate, and releasing next month, honestly, in my opinion, I mean, the month after February would not be a good idea. I think Sparking Zero in all, it just benefits more from free content updates than it does from probably actual, like, you know, DLC releases. Since DLC releases will be spaced out and I'll have to add so many characters, meaning that realistically it's going to take a while if the players are relying on DLC to get back into the game. People just want a game that plays good, that plays well, that allows you to do a lot of stuff. We still didn't have, for example, like the ability to change our key effect colors, which was an option in Tenkaichi 3. We still don't have the option to put halos in every character you want, which was also an option in Tenkaichi 3. In general, Sparking Zero somehow has less customization than Tenkaichi 3. Yeah, we have some unique variants of outfits that weren't available in Tenkaichi 3. For example, the Whis Gi outfit and the Whis Battlesuit outfit. But that's more just being a Dragon Ball Super game rather than being a Dragon Ball Z game, you know? So I think Sparking Zero would benefit more from free content update. Again, so many things they could still add, like the Goku Gi for Teen Gohan. That way you can, like, you know, reminisce over his Bojack version of the outfit. Maybe they'll actually allow us to customize our ultimate attacks for each forms for our characters. Because again, Bojack has Gohan's ultimate attack basically, right? From the same movie, where he shoots a Ki Blast and he charges through with a melee punch. Gohan should realistically have an ultimate attack that is just that move. The same way how Gohan has Raging Masenko for Super Saiyan 2, but it's only available in story mode, you can't use it. His ultimate attack all the time is always Father Son Kamehameha, which I don't think most people have an issue with. But since the option is there to allow multiple characters to have different ultimate attacks and super attacks, it's just kind of weird that we can't actually change that ourselves, you know? It's not like it'd be broken. All of the more broken moves in the game are all super explosive waves. So unless someone makes their entire team just characters with super explosive waves, right? That's the only way it would ever end up being OP. But that's more so for the game devs to eventually, you know, nerf the power of explosive waves as the game goes on. But for now, no, the game would benefit just a ton from like just free content support that would just change the way like characters play, or just add like more costumes for characters. For example, imagine if we could get the training armor for Saiyans from the Cell Saga on DBS Goku and give that Goku a halo, while also giving him a power port on his back, because he's, you know, he's DBS Goku from like the Broly movie promo stuff, so he could have the power port on his back still. Like, we could have insane variations of characters. We could have like a Golden Frieza with like red Ki. You know, we could have Cooler with Golden Frieza Ki. You know, so much cool stuff is like an actual option in Sparking Zero. It's just not actually out yet because they're probably not done. Again, this is the kind of game that I thought, even I was believing this game would probably come out 2025, because it looked like they weren't done with a lot of stuff that they had promised. And the game is out. It's 2 months later, while the balance for the game is pretty spot on. It's pretty good now, right? Stuff like customization for characters is severely lacking. You know, it took a while for them to even make custom battle mode like fun to like edit like the text for it too. So, you know, it's a little bit of a shame, but I understand. The game needed a bit more time in the oven. The game's finally out, but we're still waiting for a lot of these things that would make Sparking Zero reach the same heights that we've always had, like with Tenkaichi 3 as an example. When it comes to early DLC, obviously, I don't know how much that would do, because even if we get the first Sparking Zero DLC, let's say we get it January, right? We don't have to wait till February. If we get it January, like they announce it, like it releases like a week after the big tournament they're doing, it's like, that would be nice, but that would only be one DLC. We'd still have to wait for everything else when it comes to like DLC-wise content for characters to, you know, for release dates. For example, we get the Superhero DLC January. When would we get the Daima DLC, like 2, right? And then Daima DLC 3, because we know the next 2 DLCs after Superhero are Daima. And we won't know how many other new variations of characters they'll need to put in, whether they put in like a new, like Super Saiyan-esque 4 form for Goku. We wouldn't know when that releases. We wouldn't know when, like, Goku could go Daima Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta could have a new form, the Majin characters, Majin, Ku, and Du, like all of these characters, and then we don't even know who the final boss is, or what the final boss's final form is going to look like. All of these are still available character options for the Daima characters. So saying, you know, oh, we should get the DLC releases to be faster than what it is right now, we don't know what the characters that they're going to even add are going to be. Like, for Superhero, I understand being upset that we haven't got it, like, earlier, right? But for Daima especially, there's no way. We'd have to wait for the anime to obviously like add way more stuff before we could then have it for, you know, for ourselves. So that's the way I feel about it. I'm not gonna rush or like really like scramble and go and like lose my mind because I haven't got like Sparking Zero DLC sooner. It's obviously a thing that's gonna take a lot of time, because Sparking Zero isn't gonna do a Xenoverse 2. It's not gonna just be 2 characters and then they fall asleep for like a year and a half while they try and come up with with the next DLC. So yeah, I can wait. Like, even when you think about updates that help games in general, Xenoverse 2 and Fighters can have like no DLC coming up, but just have updates that really make the game like just actually fun to play. Whether it's because Xenoverse 2 will do something actually good for once, like patching or buffing and changing 150 different super attacks, moves, and customizations for like races, they add new transformations, etc, etc, right? Keep in mind that's all free content for Xenoverse 2. Whenever they used to have big patches like that used to make the game like real fun. Like it would change things up a lot. Dragon Ball FighterZ as an example, recently they've had like the updates that I describe as turbo modes, because they just make the game like on drugs. Like it changes the game so much that certain characters like feel completely different to play or have new optimal ways to play them, because you should be playing them like as if you've like just finished swallowing like a whole crack rock, rather than actually just trying to play them like the same way you've always been playing them, you know? You can get these kind of cool changes that do a lot for the gameplay and the character, as well as for the fun of the gameplay in general. For example, Dragon Ball FighterZ gets rollback, and that's a massive thing. Like, everyone gets back on the game, everyone's trying it again, because the rollback connection in general is just such a sweet thing to have. I think Sparking Zero, again, just like Fighters and just like Xenoverse 2 back in the day, it'll probably benefit more from, like, big free updates that, like, just help the game out when it comes to, like, you know, just it doesn't have to be paid, it doesn't even have to be new characters. It could just be like adding new costumes, adding new balancing, allowing more customization features for characters, like being able to change out their super attacks. Like, I don't know, if I could have if Super Saiyan Blue Goku didn't have to have like no grudge strike emotion hit, whatever the hell they call that stupid move, man, or super Kamehameha, right? I could maybe change out his super attack to be like warp Kamehameha and like meteor combination or meteor smash instead or something, you know? Like, maybe I can't change his ultimate attack, sure, but it'd be nice to see all these different characters do different animations, different attacks. Even if it doesn't have too much effect on like the core gameplay, it's a nice visual difference that gives you a new refreshing experience. Kind of like when Fighters adds new changes to super attacks and ultimate attacks. Like, for example, they gave Ginyu a whole new like a whole new ultimate attack in Dragon Ball Fighters. Characters get new unique gimmicks, like being able to follow up super attacks into ultimate attacks. It's, you know, it's stuff like that just changes gameplay up massively, and I think Sparking Zero would probably go down the same route, because that's just the most ideal one. Xenoverse patches, Xenoverse-like patches aren't gonna be the best option forever, because the meta is going to change so much when they add new moves to the game, or maybe they just won't be able to make the game any more balanced, or in Xenoverse 2's case, they could just give up on balancing it and say, screw you guys, just just enjoy what we left you, alright? Just shop and eat it. Either way, I think this is a fine place to end the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in general about the route Sparking Zero should take, because I do believe, yes, getting the DLC for Superhero earlier rather than later is probably for the better, but for the Daima DLC, that's an impossibility. The game should focus on keeping itself alive and keeping itself entertaining by putting out at least a decent, frequent amount of, like, you know, free updates, whether it's character costume changes or balancings, or any of the other things, right? Like customization effects. All of these things should be taken into account into making Sparking Zero just the most perfect Dragon Ball game to play. I want to play a Dragon Ball game where I can be like a buff, shirtless Jiren with an angel halo that has green ki, and the parts of his outfit are colored blue, and his skin is yellow, and his head is like even longer. I want to play a crazy version of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, right? But that's a great place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed, then obviously again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it's a greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. Love you all, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care, and peace, amigos.